So this is a bonus session and not part of the syllabus, but still we plan this kind of sessions to spend some more time in the training program so that students can learn more because Interlogic never focus on the syllabus duration and lots of times lots of things will be trained to you which is having no connection to syllabus, but still the extra efforts are taken so that you will have some good amount of knowledge or additional amount of knowledge for your interview purpose. So today what we are going to do is today we are going to see a project scenario where in the past Interlogic took the benefit of the context variable, especially focusing on those two famous context variable. Let me tell you about that. So let me tell you about that. One is the famous one Trigger.New, and second one is the famous one Trigger.Old. So to make a background, first of all, Trigger.Old is the context variable which will tell you whenever your trigger is getting fired. And as soon as trigger got fired and you printed this system.debug trigger.old, or you printed system.debug trigger.new, just print it and see what is inside that. So you will see in the trigger.new the latest version of all the records or one record which caused trigger to get activated, and trigger.old will show the immediate previous version of that record before you modify. Okay, that's the background. But how this can be useful, or how this concept is so much famous in the market, I'm going to tell you with some example. In fact, I'm going to give you one implementation that we have done in the past in Interlogic project, but I'll just simply change the customer or project name or object name because I don't want that to do. So what I will do is assume that I'll just modify the name, and let me log into Salesforce environment, and let me uh, show you any my sales training environment, and let me show you any object which we can use for this learning process, and based on that object we will use the further things. Let's say maybe this one. For example, let's say this object monster.com, this project, and let's say we are having this current object in that, and click on that and click on new button. So this is something in my Salesforce environment or training environment. Okay, so now what I will do, I will create exactly same replica of the project scenario that we have done in Interlogic. So the that was done for various types of data to avoid the duplications, and sorry, to avoid the modifications, and that is the bank account number, that is social security number, that is email address. Many projects are there where we used this concept. That's the reason I'm telling you that this concept is very useful for your further work. We will take this one, third scenario, and this is also something which we are also using in the LMS system of Interlogic. That's why here, which also doesn't allow the change in email, the LMS system is there. There also similar kind of setup is there in that app that we are using for our internal business of Salesforce training at Interlogic. That time also we are doing the same thing, and also for various customers similar setup we are having. Fine. So now let's move ahead, and let me talk about now that important thing. So here now I'm going to show you by creating one email field. So let me quickly create an email field, and then I'll show you the business requirements. So create an email field. Let's say I'm going to click on email, click on email, And then after that, so email, click on email and click on next. Click on next. So I'm just creating an email field so that I can show you the scenario. Let's say I'm going to mention here the email, let's say client email, okay? And assume that in the description I'm mentioning this data should not be allowed to change. Okay, assume that this is a previous requirement which we have done. Let's say we are doing the same thing. Okay, and after that here and inform client by mail about this rule if we found this case. In short, here the requirement was don't allow change in email a- and and inform client by sending email to avoid this. Okay, this was a requirement we had done in one of our previous implementation. In that, inform client by sending email to avoid this is something possible by using code, and by using code we can send email the way we have seen in the past by using workflow rules. So this is again not a part of the syllabus to learn how we can send email by code. But don't worry, I'm going to also teach you as a part of bonus session, as a part of bonus syllabus, so that you can learn how you can send email by code also. But assume that right now we are focusing on this part, because this part you don't know, because here that you will see in the bonus session. And help text, anything your wish, whatever you want, right? I'm not going to spend time in this because this is something all simple things. Skip it and next. And visible for everyone. And click on next and next and save. That's all. The field is ready. Okay, so now I'll show you by creating one record and understand what exactly our customer said. Don't allow this. What exactly they said, let me show you. So let me refresh the page, and whatever is the name, whatever is the experience country, whatever. Now here, the requirement from customer was that if suppose, let's say his name is John, so let's say John at the rate IBM dot, or let's say Infosys.com, for example. Okay, something like this is the data, and save it. Now suppose anyone who is looking for the modification of the email, and let's say I'm modifying the email, then John123, whatever is the new email, I'm going to save it. So the business requirement was in that project, don't allow this. Second thing, also send email to the concerned person that you are not supposed to do this, or this is not allowed as per your company's policy. Okay, so this we have done in one of the previous project. Let me show you this part, how we restrict it, and then you will also understand how you can use the Trigger.Old and Trigger.New combination in a very useful way. Thousands of scenarios are there where you can use this. I'm going to show you one important scenario. So first of all, what you are going to do, you are going to check this, or you are going to perform this activity, of course, in the trigger. So let's write a trigger on this object. So go for object definition page. Let us write trigger. Scroll down and click on new button on the trigger, and it's going to now open the trigger page for you. Okay, so this is something, your trigger name. Okay, so now you can modify this trigger name, and we can change as per the requirement. So I will do one thing. So here I will be, yes, just to ensure that our time will be not spent on this writing of trigger and all these things. So here what I will do is I will just simply modify the name, and I will just I'll just use my existing code, and by modifying my customer's name or his object name, I will simply use our object name or our scenario. So here we go. Okay. So now here what we are doing, pay attention. We are writing a trigger with the name email duplication. Okay. Which you can give any name on this object before update, because you are going to restrict the change in the email. It means only in update. Definitely you're not interested in insert. How you can modify the email in insert operation, right? So before update. And the second thing here, if this is customer and he is modifying the record, now before this record gets modified and goes to the database with new value, here only we need to stop it and say, sorry, not possible. And from here only, we need to send email to this guy by saying, you're not supposed to do this. Okay. Or the concerned manager, because we sent email to around 2 to 3 people, including BCC, in that project. So this way you can send email whatever person you want to send, not a big issue. So here now what I'm going to do, I'm going to identify how actually this is going to happen. So listen carefully. So what I did, I processed and I traversed a trigger. Now I'm writing the code, I'm writing the logic in trigger to make it simple for you, but then I'm going to shift it to the Apex class. Right now I'm just showing you to make it simple, not to make it complex. So here I'm processing a Trigger.New, which will give me 1 record or 100 records in the trigger. And what I'm doing now, this is very important. I am saying Trigger.Old map. Now this is very important. Pay attention here. How exactly is happening? Let's take an example of this record. John record. Let's take an example. Okay. See here. So as soon as the customer is going to enter data entry, I will write a general word because that can be 1 record or 100 records. Customer did data entry. Now inside the trigger, this is your trigger. If you see Trigger.Old, and here of course we are doing update. Okay, we are of course doing update. So if I say Trigger.Old, okay, then I will be able to see the information in the format of list that you know. And if I did Trigger.Old map, then I will see all these records in the format of map, where the format is, first of all, key is record ID, and then second is the entire record monster.com underscore underscore c. That entire record, that record will be in the map format. So always remember, whenever you are working with Trigger.Old or new kind of comparison, then you will be using map as a best kind of or easy option to use. So you are going to use map. Now let me explain you what exactly happening by this in this code by making in the bigger font. So what I'm saying now, listen very carefully and pay attention. Now I'm traversing one by one in the record. Right now assume I have only one record. That is that Tom, and email address is tom@infosys.com. Okay. So right now in my Trigger.New, my Trigger.New is having only one record, which is Tom, and tom@infosys.com. Okay. Now what I said, I'm saying, so then I modified and I modified to this Tom and tom123@infosys.com. I modified. Okay. Now here after the modification, this trigger is coming into the picture because I'm telling, if I'm modifying, then please come to this trigger. Yes, it's coming. Then it's giving me one by one value. So this is my, now in this case, what will happen? this will become my Trigger.Old, and this will become my Trigger.New. Okay, this much knowledge you have. So I'm saying Trigger.New. Okay, traverse one by one. Okay, fine. Right now we're traversing Tom's record. Next, I am saying that Trigger.Old map means give me this data in the format of map. Okay, fine. Then what? In the map, if you remember if you remember the session or topic of collection, where we learned that if you want any specific value from the map, then there is a function called as get. In that get, you can pass key. In that get, you can pass key. So now listen carefully what's happening. This is very important. Listen very carefully. So here I'm going to show you now in this case how exactly it's happening. One record or 1000 record doesn't matter. So right now I inserted the record and it was Tom and it was tom@infosys.com. Then after that, what I did, I updated the record. I got Tom and Tom123@infosys.com. Okay. But suppose I want this in the format of map. The same data I want in the format of map because this is in the format of list. And this is nothing but I'm getting in Trigger.New. This is the output of Trigger.New. And later it became Trigger.Old. So let me make Trigger.New here and Trigger.Old here. This is the current situation. Okay. This is the current situation. So if I go step by step, let me show you. So here, step 1, it was Trigger.New like this. Then after that, what I did, let me just show you. This is step number 1. I inserted the record. Okay. Step 2, I modified the record and now my record became like this. This is Trigger.Old. This is new. Okay. So I hope till this point everyone is clear. First, I inserted record. So this is my Trigger.New. I have this value. Then I modified the record and I updated. So it was my Trigger.Old and this is my update record Trigger.New. Okay, fine. Next. So now what I will do here, now in the same format, let's say I want this data in the format of map. So in the format of map, you can also have the data that is Trigger.Old map. If you have this data, then in this map, your data is like this. In this map, your data is like this. First, you're having the ID. So record ID is, let's say, maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever is the record ID. Okay, comma. After that, you're having your entire data. So this is the Trigger.Old map. You're getting the data in the format of map. Same way, suppose here I'm looking for, so this is my Trigger.Old map, cut and paste here in the format of map and in map format. And here also, I'm going to do the same thing. And if suppose you want Trigger.New in the format of map, yes, possible. Trigger.New map. And what is the new value? Tom and 1, 2, 3, and here is the old value. And let's record ID will be same. Okay. So now listen carefully. If the Trigger.Old is Tom and Tom Infosys, which is the old data. If I want to convert into the map format, very simple, just use Trigger.Old map. So now this time you will get key as a record ID and the entire record will be after comma, which is the value. So if you remember the collection topic, collection always contains key and this is value. And this is right now the old information because the 1, 2, 3 came later. Okay, next. Then I modified and now in Trigger.New, the value is Tom and Tom123@infosys.com. But I want in the map format, no problem. Trigger.New map. And then here is the value 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, same because record ID will not change. Record ID will never change in the entire life of that record unless you delete that. Okay. And then here in the key format, this is the new value which you modified. That's all. So here, if you want to see in the list format, see this, map format, see this, list format, this, map format, this. Now, why I'm telling you this? Because whenever you are going to play with Trigger.New and Trigger.Old kind of code in the real-time project, where you want to see what was the previous value and what was the old value, and shall I proceed ahead or not, or shall I throw error, email is getting changed or not. In such kind of cases, we prefer map, because in the map only you have the facility like get, where you can pass some kind of meaningful business data, that is business data like record key, and then get that particular data. So what I'm doing here is this. Now with this background you can understand, because whatever I told in last 5 minutes is all because of line number 5, so that you will be very confident in that. So what I'm saying, look at this, I'm saying Trigger.Old map. What will be the output of this? Trigger.Old map. As soon as I say, I will get what is present in line number 21. This is line number 18. Okay, this is going to give me Trigger.Old map, line number 18. Okay, now here I am saying in the Trigger.Old map, I am passing get function. In the collections we saw, if you pass get function, you can bring something out of that map. So I'm saying I want to get something. Then Salesforce is saying, okay, sure, tell me the key, whatever is the key. So you know that the key is nothing but record ID. So I'm saying, look, the current record which is I'm processing is n. I'm keeping in the current record. Let me just write here. Let's say current. Let's say where current record. Okay, I'm just giving some kind of such meaningful name so that you can understand what actually we're trying to achieve. So I'm saying, look, right now in the current record, whatever is the ID of the current record. See, I'm saying whatever is the ID of the current record, pass this. So we are passing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. As soon as we are passing, it will go to old map and it will see if I pass 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, what I will get? I will get the complete value. That is nothing but equivalent to a record. So as I'm calling a record in the left hand side, I'm declaring here with a value where old record. I'm writing something like this. So I'm getting this where old record, and yeah. So I'm getting now in this variable the old record, the entire record I'm getting, which is nothing but Tom and tominfosys.com. Okay, now this is my old record. That's it. Your 50% work is done. Now, as you have the old record, and by default, you have new record in this where current where. Okay, so please note here in this process, please note, understand here. Also, one more thing, this we have old record or old value of that particular record in this variable, and similarly here this we have new value of that particular record in this variable, right? So now I'm simply, now once I got the old value from that map, what I'm doing, this current record dot email address, if it is not equal to the old record of that email address, means something changed, means email address changed, then there is a way to throw error in the trigger, that is current record dot that field name, or you can also do like this, current record that error, add error, and simply write whatever error you want to show and say email cannot be changed. So now I will show you this as a demonstration. Let me just copy this and let me show you how actually it's working, and then I will give you one more time the entire summary of this. So I'm just going to copy and paste and quick save. My trigger is ready, and now see what's going to happen. Invalid type mons.com at line number 3. So mons.com, yeah, object name is wrong, typing mistake, spelling mistake, object name is wrong. This is the spelling mistake result. Copy and paste properly, don't do spelling mistake, and now quick save. Again line number 6, yeah, here also spelling mistake, and here email, okay, email field is not proper. Let me also see the spelling, because these are all errors coming for spelling. Okay, so spelling should be correct, and I'm using the email field which is having the API name called as client email. Okay, so that's the reason it's giving me spelling mistakes. I'm just going to copy this. So client email is the proper name in my case. I'm going to copy and now come to the code, and here email, and here email, and quick save. Yeah, now it's fine. So these are the results of spelling mistakes. Okay, now go for the execution. So we'll do one thing now. See, I'm going to create a new record to show you the proof and click on new. So I will use now my name and I will use by that way. So let us see what will happen. So let's say I'm going to enter a record of a person. Let's say Shekhar is a person and his email address is, let's say for example, Shekhar@gmail.com. Okay, something like that. Record saved. Definitely trigger will not work in this time because we clearly mentioned to the trigger you only work when you are actually in a update scenario, because we don't want this code to run for insert, so it's not going to work. Now I'm going to modify, and now I'm changing the email address. I'm changing Shekhar to, let's say, XYZ. Okay, I'm changing my email address, which is not allowed as per the policy. Now let's see whether it will work or not. So just do one thing. What you need to do, just you need to click on the save button, and please note that here now you can see error is coming, and this line, okay, is the line which is mentioned here. Now whatever you mention, that will come as an error. It's very simple to throw error. Just write that record name dot add error is the function and pass the data. Okay, so now what we have done here, let me now convert into the apex class format, because at the beginning of this today's session I told that for making it simple for you, we will first of all create in trigger everything, and then I will divide that into the apex class that I told at the beginning of the session. So now I'm going to convert that into the apex class format so that we will have different distribution of the code. And now as you understood that, let me divide the logic. So what I'm going to do now here, I'm going to write a class, and in that class I will divide my logic. So let's say public so let me just type here public, and then class, and let's say for example email dupe check class. Generally we should give the name which is meaningful and easy to understand, and here also I'll do the trigger name, that is email duplicate check. I will write something like this. Okay, something like this. And now I'm going to do one thing. I'm going to declare here this class. So this is my code, and in that class I'm going to write my logic in function, because without function we cannot do anything. So public, and I'm going to call by apex class static, and not going to return anything. So void and function name, let's say check email function. You can give any such meaningful name, and then bracket starts here. Now here the interesting thing here, now I'm going to here cut, I'm going to cut this entire for loop. Okay, cut this entire for loop and put in the apex class in the function specially. But now we have to make some changes, because right now whatever we are using in this function, we need to see are we really having that data or not. So first of all, here what we need is Trigger.New. Trigger.New is not available, by the way, in apex class. We need to pass. We need to pass. Trigger.New is by default not available in apex class. We need to pass. How to pass? No problem. We will do one thing here. We will accept. So here we will say give me Trigger.New, and also one more thing we need. What is that? One more thing we need from apex class. Sorry, one more thing we need from trigger. Yes, Trigger.Old. Okay, so old map. So give me this one. See, we are using old map also, right? It is not available in the class. It's available in the trigger. So give me Trigger.Old map also. That's it. We need only two things. Other things we not need. Okay, fine. So for that purpose, we are saying, okay, sure, you want it. Let me pass. So here, let's call the class name check email function. Copy this class name. Come here, and class name dot. What is the function name? Class name is email dupe check class. Copy, and this is class name dot function name. Okay, and now whatever it's asking, pass. So you are asking me what? First of all, you are asking give me Trigger.New. No problem. So let me pass Trigger.New. What else you want from my side? Trigger is asking, give me Trigger.Old map. Sure, I will give you old map also, comma, Trigger.Old map. That's it. Automatically, these things will be passed to your class. But you need to now write some kind of variable here to accept, because you need to now accept something in a parameter, some kind of variable you should declare. Okay. So what is the type of first Trigger.New? What is the type of Trigger.New? Trigger.New is in which format? Yes, list format. List of what? Integer, or list of double, or list of boolean? What? List of what? Yes, list of this object means records. Very good. So I'm going to write here that there will be my variable. Let me just make the font small. List of the API name, copy, and I'm saying list of this, and I will give here my new. I'm just going to give here now. Here, let's say list of new records. Okay, I'm giving you my variable name. Okay, then comma. Now tell me, I'm passing also Trigger.Old map, which is in which format? This is in which format? Trigger.Old map is what kind of data type? Map format. Very good. Now it means I'm going to declare a map variable here. So map, and what should be the type of data? First of all, what? ID. Very good. ID comma s object. Very good. So ID comma, copy this, and let me take it to the right hand side. ID comma this. Very good. This is the type of data I'm going to get in map, and now declare a variable. Let's say here that map of old record. This is a variable name I'm giving, meaningful name, so that even my colleague, my manager should understand what I'm doing. Okay, so let me bring everything on the big screen, because here there is a limit of the window. So let me just do one thing. So let me show you in the notepad. So look at this. This is my class. So what I'm doing here, pay attention. So look at this. Let me copy the code and explain you. Copy, and I'm going to paste and see here what I'm doing. First of all here, I have written this function, and I know that the first parameter is going to be Trigger.New. It's a list format. List of what? List of the records of monster. So simply give list of list, and in the bracket object name or API name of monster.com. Okay. Next, I know the second format is going to be in the format of map, and now what I'm doing here, I'm saying map of ID, which is the data type of IDs, and then the entire record will be there as a value. So I'm using the API name of monster.com object, and I'm giving whatever name I want to give. Here also whatever name I want to give. That's it. This way you can divide the logic and separate to class and trigger. Okay, fine. Now let's see any more change we need to do. Now here we are using Trigger.New. Now I don't need that because there is no Trigger.New in my class. Instead of that, what should I use? There is no Trigger.New, so what should I do? Because there is no Trigger.New, Salesforce will throw error. What I should use? Yes, correct answer. Instead of this, I should use this, because my data I'm collecting here, which is Trigger.New. So instead of this, I should use here. Very good. So I'm just going to copy this, copy, and paste here. So I'm saying traverse in this variable, one by one take the value. Okay. Next, now here in this line also we need to we need to change something, because there is no such thing called as Trigger.Old map in our class. Instead of that, we have something else which will be equivalent to Trigger.Old map. What is that? What is that? Yes, this one. Very good. This is the equivalent of Trigger.Old map. Okay. So copy this and replace Trigger.Old map line. So just copy this and come here and Trigger.Old map. Then after that, whatever is there, it's okay. That's all fine. There is no problem. Okay. And this way, you whatever work you have done, you can now save in the Apex class whatever work you have done. So Apex class saved, and now come to the trigger and even save the trigger, and trigger also saved. And now let's do one more test. Go to this and let me now give some different error. Email cannot be changed. please avoid this. You can give any kind of such variations. And if suppose you want to give the error only near the field, then just do one thing: the record dot field name dot add error, quick save. Okay, quick save. And yeah, so spelling mistake, email cannot be changed, comma, please avoid this. So quick save. So now see, this error will come near the field, not at the top of the page. It will come near the field. Okay, let me show you. Click on new, and I'm going to create a new record, John, or let's say now this time new name, let's say Peter. And Peter Peter at the rate gmail.com, and save. No problem, no trigger, nothing, because it's an insert operation. And now click on edit, and after Peter, I'm going to mention, let's say Peter 123, and save, and see what's going to happen. And look at this. This time error came near the field. Okay. So this way you can give the error as per the requirement. You can give here error at the top, or he can give here also near the field. And this is a very powerful concept in real-time projects for comparing old value and then taking a decision. Okay. So now I hope you guys are clear and you guys understood. So that's all with the bonus session what we have. Okay.